Okay, before people come, I just want us to have a few chats. What I was thinking of was the last retreat we had, which was around focusing for maximum impact. And for me, my biggest goal this year is to impact 2,000 students, 2,000 secondary students. I was just thinking about it today again. This thing, like I say, I need to write it on the wall. Like I think I need to be seeing it every day because the way things are, even though I have systems that would help me, there is a percentage of my income that I'm dedicating every month for the achievement of this goal. I still feel I need more fire in my bones. That's roughly 10 million naira. That's one of my targets just to give, not just to make 10 million naira to give this year. So I was thinking about it today again. I was like, huh, I have to be more intentional about my big goal for the year. I don't know what it is like for you. Like, how are you doing with your big goal? I don't know whether you have big goals for the year, but how are you doing generally with your goals? I don't know whether Timmy wants to speak to that. What do you have? What do you think?
Um, sir, so that question is it's okay. So my big goals. Actually, I have goals because I just finished from school. I just finished last year, November, graduate. So I had set up things in my mind that okay, as a graduate, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. But for me, I don't think is I don't think like I'm going to achieve like maybe that kind of like money like maybe hit the bag that million for me for me it's more of like I want to build foundation and capacity as much as I can, and from there I will continue to build on from the roots. So like I've okay practically I've started doing some stuff on leadership. Like I've started reading books, I've started trusting God in many regards, and from my skill too, because I also code, so I have goals that I want to meet by the year, like become this as much as I can. So that's just it for me. So,
That's very powerful. That's very powerful. Thanks for sharing. Dennis, do you want to say something to that?
sorry, we can't hear you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I forgot my mic was muted. So I was saying thank you very much for that. That was insightful. The fact that you have goals for every area of your life and you are just pressing to achieve them. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. And by the way, I know you are not around at the December retreat. If you are around, you will have your big area that shares good because that was the entire focus of that retreat. Dennis, do you want to say something about yours too? So maybe something you love to share with us about your experience so far and how it is going.
All right, thank you, Bolu. Thank you to the person who just shared. As for my goals, I mean, I kind of remapped everything because, like you said, that retreat, it helped, but then I did some brainstorming. I had to like remap the whole thing where I want to see myself. I mean, it's quite temporary because there are certain things I have to like figure out and all. But for now, I've already set up systems. I have deadlines for Q1, Q2. No, I have for Q1 now. I've not mapped out for Q2, but I know I have my goals for the year and I'm actively working towards it. Still brainstorming on a particular one that I'm still thinking about. There's one particular goal that I want to achieve, but in order to get that goal, I need to settle down and then think about it and then, pray over it and all. So it's just one particular one that I need to add on and probably work towards it. So yeah, that is basically what I have right now. I have systems I'm creating and putting systems in place to achieve these goals.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. That's very powerful because at the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. Nobody is going to beat you for not achieving your goal. but there's a joy, there's a fulfillment that comes with achieving what you set out to do. And that's one of our greatest desires, that you set out to do something and you achieve it. And all of us agree that it's not always automatic. Sometimes you need more fire in your bones. Sometimes you have to have some clarity sessions with yourself. Okay, what I'm doing, are you sure it's still going to get me where I want to go? And if it's not going to get me there guaranteed, what can I do differently? I think that's what matters sometimes. Let me ask Daniel, because myself and Daniel were talking this afternoon about that. The fact that we need fire in our bones. We can't just set goals and there are systems, but sometimes you need that fire. You need to sometimes put that vision in front of you. So I want to ask Daniel, how far with your your goals for 2026, and how is it coming? How, do you think you need fire? What is it with you? Just share with us.
Hi, everyone on the call. Good evening. Hope you had an amazing Sunday. Yes, goals for 2026. I mean, as much as goals are not set in stone, right? Yet, I mean, you still have to recalibrate and see what will work. I think you need fire, sincerely. And I think you need people that are going where you are going around you, people that are constantly, even if the goals don't need to be exactly the same thing. It does not need to be, oh, he wants to buy a car, I want to buy a car. It's just that you are seeing somebody who has a goal and is going towards his goal. So I think you need more of those kind of people around you that are always, they're always on fire, right? Like I said, you need fire. You need people that are moving towards their goal already, and then they are not waiting for March or April to start doing it. Like I heard the last speaker saying that set goal for the first quarter, right, and then start moving towards it. It might be difficult because the year is just starting. A lot of financial limitation might be around it first, or like I said before, like move towards it, right? What you cannot, what you must do with finance, let it be on pending, and then what you don't need finance to do, be on top gear on it. So that's what I'm doing currently. I'm moving all the stones that I need to move at least, and then setting everything in place. When everything settles, we can just roll through. Thank you once again.
Wow, thank you very much. When Daniel speaks like this, if I myself I'm catching with fire. I'm catching the fire where I'm seated. Wow, thank you very much for that insightful time. Let me ask Joshua. Joshua, how is it with your 2026 goals? I know the topic of our December retreat was refocusing for maximum impact. I will talk about setting big goals for the year and how it is important that we focus on impact. Now that we are almost rounding up January, how is it? How is the fire burning? How is the clarity coming? You would mind to share?
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Uh, actually, I have a lot that I've jotted and
Hello, Joshua. We can't hear you.
say quarters. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I think my network is dropping. Okay, I said that. Okay, I have a lot of goals I pinned down for the year, and I'm trying to actualize the first quarter because I just hope I can like finish up all the plans for the year. But for this first quarter, I plan to just write professional exams and finish up my data analysis class. That's all for this quarter. Then the next one, I have a lot that I want to move on to. As a serving core member in Nigeria, we still have, especially with my kind of job I do. I'm trying to like balance the life of work life and other aspect of my life together. But I just hope God help me, and I need like motivation to push. So I won't like get tired and all. I mean, I think we all do. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, that's the truth. We all do. At some point, we all need the motivation to just push ahead and do what we've been planning to do. And I totally agree with you. One of the things all need at this phase of our life is balance and knowing how to settle and position ourselves for bigger opportunities. And I pray that your desires are fulfilled. So let me just ask one more person. Damilare, it's good to have you here. Welcome. Glad to see you. Say I now. Can you speak? Okay, maybe I want to assume he's okay. Maybe busy. So let me ask Gift. Gift, how was the last retreat for you? And how are you doing with your goals for this year? Do you mind to share? I'm Gift, if you are speaking, we can't hear you. Yeah, damn now you can drop test, we'll read it. Gift, if you are speaking, we can't hear you. Or I can't hear you. Okay. John, it's good to have you. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how are you doing with your goals for the year?
Uh, for 2026, I'm still putting my goals in place, and also, I've since I've joined, I've had people talking about quarters, first quarter, second quarter. I'm thinking of putting that also in place, but I'm still gathering my goals. I'm still organizing them.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. But January is past spent. So if you want to gather your goals, gather it on time. Okay, that would be good for introduction. So let's just dive straight into our topic of discussion for the day. And the topic says demystifying identity. How to build a consistent and a reliable life. So let me just say, give a little background to where this idea dropped on my mind. Okay, so David shared something on the chat. Let me just read it. It says, so far, the goals are moving well. I've been very heavy on moving in beats every day and compounding the output of consistency. I've been paying the price daily and it is moving well. I'm all this Professor Shah. You don't go who does it English. But thanks very much for that. It's compounding. Compound guys. Thank you. Really appreciate your input. I was saying something about where this topic dropped on my mind. And I can say that I was reading Atomic Habits. I don't know how many of us have read Habits by James Clem. And he was describing how identity is formed. And his proposition is that identity is formed around habits. That is the habit to do often that later grow up to become who we perceive ourselves to be. And reading it and thinking about it, obviously you are allowed to think about what you read. I was thinking about what I read and I don't agree with him 100%. And the reason I don't agree with him 100% is that many of what defines us today, many of what we describe as who we are, was not really because of the habit we started doing or the traits we picked up. It's many other things, right? Based on my personal opinion. And I felt, okay, this is a good discussion topic. Let's have this discussion. So I will share my thoughts, then I will invite the scholars in our midst to also share their views because we're all intelligent people. So how do I see habits? This is a discussion, so everybody will get to speak. For me, how do I see habits? So how do I see identity? I see identity as a deep-rooted conviction about who you are. Like, if I want to say who is Bolu Atife, what am I going to say? Who am I? Who do I see myself to be? So, James Clear, he argues that if you read often, you are a reader, right? You are a reader. If you smoke, then you see yourself as a smoker one day. But for like his position is that habits develop identity. But I think personally, I think values define identity. Let's start with the general things. For me, like general things around the kind of food I eat. How did I get to choose the kind of food I eat? Was it because okay, I grew up in an environment where I tried a couple of food, then I just grew up with one. I think it's just values of those around me. So for me, I see identity first of all being formed by group. Like identity is first formed around groups. Most of what defines us today were not things we chose or the habits we formed, is the association we had early on in life, and that defines our values. Because for me, I see identity as a deep-rooted conviction about who you are, your values. Like it starts with your belief, your values. That's the way I see it. So even though arguing now with James Clear, he had a three level analysis of I. He said the best way for now he's saying behavioral change. If you want to change your behavior, rather than starting with outcomes like you want to reduce weight, or starting with process by going to the gym, he said if you want to change your habits, you can. If you want to change your identity, your habit, you can change with you can start with identity, saying that you are a conscious health conscious person. Then by that you can go to the gym and then you can lose weight. What am I trying to drive at is that I believe the fundamental way to build identity is values, is convictions. So beyond group culture, another way I see identity being formed, and we'll talk about the impact of identity on people. Identity is a lot in our world today. Identity is literally shaping people's opinion about life and leading them in ways they don't understand. People are making choices that they can't fathom the rationale, and they are constantly making wrong choices or good choices because of the identity they built up in their head. So I think the other way identity is from is knowledge. Like many of us growing up, just discover something about yourself. Maybe discover that you are very inquisitive, or you are very smart in mathematics, you are very good in English, and that give you a sense of identity about who you are. I'm like, I'm a smart guy, I'm intelligent. That built up, and it's like a reinforcing effect over time. And the third way I see identity being formed is around external things. A lot of people build their identity around external things. They want to become a medical doctor because they see themselves as a medical doctor, and they see everything around them as medical doctor. And when they become a medical doctor, it's hard for them to become anything else because the encapsulation of who they are is around the profession. So let me throw the question to the house. What's your own definition of identity? How do you see identity, and how do you what's your view about how identity is formed? Okay, who you are today, how can you say these thoughts? If you want to define yourself, how did these thoughts emanate? Where are the origins of your view about yourself, and how have you observed generally that people form opinion about themselves? So what is identity to you? So your floor is open. Let's start with that question this evening. What is identity? Who is going first? Okay, Daniel wants to share. Go ahead, please, Daniel.
Yes, thank you very much for Bolu for giving context. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are very audible. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So as much as I don't totally agree with you, like you rightly mentioned, this is a discussion for very for intellectual people, right? Everybody on the call is very smart. So we are going to agree to disagree in the sense that you are saying what you are saying not because you are dumb or you don't have full context. You are saying it because you have another perspective, right? So
Absolutely.
let's talk about identity, right? So for me, what influences identity the most for most people before they get to change it, like Atomic Habits was trying to portray, is that where you are from, where you are from, that's is divided into two. It's divided into the environment you are from and then the family you are from. Those things are are the main drivers of who you become or what you see yourself as. That is what your identity is. Where you are from, the environment, and who you are from, your family, are two major things that drives your identity. So you see people or the class of people, allow me to use on this call, that we call the nepotism babies or the nepo babies, right? So you see the life they live as something extravagant, but they see it as a normal life because that's how they grew up. He sees going to the US like a road trip, like he sees it like going, yeah, he sees it like a normal thing. They go there every summer, right? So
Yes.
you seen it, yeah. He's 18 now. They buy him a Benz, a C300 black, and then it is just a normal thing. You see it as being extravagant. So his identity, so those things are not luxurious to him. They are just normal thing because that is his identity. That is his framework. So
Yeah.
where you are from, and then the family you are from, are the major factors that influence identity. So when we start talking about values and then changing all of habit and all of that, it's where you are from, the other part of it, and you're trying to move to this part of it. That's when you need to start changing all those things. But where you are from and who you are from are what defines your identity initially. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. So intelligent. It's good to rub minds with the intelligence because there's a lot we can uncover together. Where you are from and who you are from are the primary factors that define what you perceive yourself to be. That's a powerful statement by Daniel Sebi. Thank you very much. The floor is still open. Who would love to share with us? How do you define identity and how is identity formed from your observation and understanding? Yeah, go ahead, Joshua.
Okay, so can you?
Absolutely, I can hear you.
All right. Um, I agree with the previous speaker. How he said a lot. I'll just add that. Okay. Just like he said, identity is about understanding who you are, and not just understanding who you are at your core, your values, I mean your beliefs, your experiences, and how you relate to the world. It's like looking at a mirror and seeing beyond the surface. I mean, your thoughts, emotions, the stories that shape you. That is what forms your identity. And I like one of the global scholar, Stuart Hall. He spoke about identity, and I really love his own idea. He gave us, he said, identity is treated like a fluid, that is a water. So you know what fluid is? Liquid. So the ongoing process, the language, it shapes it. So as it shapes it, the language comes, it shapes the water, it turns it. So all those things is changing it and it's turning its identity. The language, the discourse, the power, the community, the background, it shapes it. Then that gives it another identity. Like that starts to form its own identity. We can also define identity as a form of representation, like through our language, through our images and stories. For example, the media, the arts, everyday conversation that we have tell us who we are and who we can be. These representation are actually neutral. They carry power and ideology if you think about it. And it's also about positioning, not just belonging. Like all said, he said we are positioned by history and culture, but we also position ourselves. So identity is like dialogue between what society assigns to us and how we ourselves respond to it.
Mm.
That's the major thing I'll say. And really, he also just start. I'm not sure if I've read his one of his book. It's actually a Jamaican British process
Okay.
of becoming, just like the topic of this retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So thank you very much, Joshua. You said something that is very insightful. You said we are positioned by history and dialogue and how we also respond to it. That's very insightful. That is, we have the capacity to respond to what our history is. That is, we have the capacity to shape our own identity. I know we've now shared a couple of points around the fact that most of what define who we are not our choices initially. Like Daniel said, your environment, the family you are from. You may not choose all of them, but the truth is that you still have capacity to make some choices. So let's say from Dame Larry, because he takes us deeper in this slide. Can go, you have the floor, Dame Larry.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Apologies for the background noise. I'm still in transit. So I appreciate Daniel and Risha's submission. I think they have been very great ones. Personally, I feel identity, of course, in this context, I feel this context is personal identity. It could be social, it could be cultural, or it could be psychological identity. But I feel for the context of this conversation, personal identity, I feel the literal meaning is identity is what defines a person, is what actually defines a person. And for me, I think identity is something that is gotten through personal experiences and then self-reflection. It's gotten through self-reflection and personal experiences. And then it's what, for the first part of it, it's what someone or something sees themselves as. Because, of course, first personal experiences, I think Joshua was trying to brush when he talking about history, personal experiences. And the second thing is now, you now reflecting on those things and deciding to choose, is this what I am? And then from that part onwards, is what now defines what you do and how people see you. So I personally feel identity in itself is gotten from the past. It's accepted in the present, and if one is not being careful enough to determine the future. Yeah, thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. It is defined in the past, it affects the present, and if one is not careful, it will also determine the future. Hmm. Wow. Wow, the words of wisdom. I think what you want to say something, you can go for it. That's check. Let me check.
Evening, everyone.
Go
Evening,
ahead.
everyone.
Shagun, go ahead.
Happy. Can you all hear me?
You have to increase your volume a little bit.
Hello, good evening. I
Good
believe you can
evening.
all hear me now.
Your volume is low. Can you is it that you are far to your mic?
Can we all hear me now?
Yeah, it's
Can we all
better
hear
now.
me
It's
now?
better now. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Actually, lately I was reading something regarding this identity.
Okay, share.
So, my own definition, the definition of identity is our belief, our value, our perception, um how we see ourselves and how we see others. So that's just what identity is, the way we see ourselves and the way we see others. And what I was reading a theory called social identity theory. So
Okay,
the social, hello, are we all hearing me?
very well.
Yeah, so the social identity theory is founded by Henry and John Turner, and their proposition is that identity is formed by the group in which we belong to.
Okay,
And actually, you said a lot about this, that identity is formed by group, is formed by value. And the first person to make contribution regarding this said it is formed by where we are and from the family we are from. So all this where we are from is formed by, like, it involves people where we are. It's not that the identity just come to us, but due to the people that surrounds us from where we are. And a family too is a group, and nobody can just come to this world with knowledge of how to behave or how to do things. So that means it has to be influenced by some people.
mm-hmm.
So regarding how identity is formed, I think I will go with the social identity theory by Henry and Johnson, that people are a more self-esteem. People are a more, like, a lot of things about themselves due to the people they surround themselves with, due to the group in which they are.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah, I think
amazing.
that's all.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, the way we are and the way we see ourselves is primarily focused on, or let me derive from the people we surround ourselves with. That reminds me of a quote by Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln said that you are the same person you are today that you'll be in 5 years, except for two things. He said the books you read and the people you hang around with. So powerful. Thank you very much for that. So let me call on Daniel and then After him, I feel to also share their insight on this. Daniel can speak.
Yes. Sorry, I thought you maybe assume it's an old and sorry, I'm still speaking again before other people get to speak. I just have this contribution to make. Uh, Moving from what Damilari said, right? So let me quickly paint a picture. I hope we get it. Identity is a very tricky thing, right? As much as you say it is personal, it is not actually personal, right?
Okay.
As much as you say it is personal, it is not actually personal, right? Think about it. If you are from a rich home,
Mm-hmm.
if I put you in an environment that is not working, yeah, from a rich home, what you understand is abundance, it's availability. That's a mindset, it's a framework, it's how you are wired.
Yeah.
So you say you grew up from a rich home, right? After a while, maybe you stayed till 20, then you now move to another place where there's lack and all of that.
Yeah.
It will not affect you immediately or initially, but after a while, you will conform to your environment, because when the Bible said as a man thinketh so is he, it is not just another line of the Bible,
Mm.
because easily, little by little, it might take years,
Yeah.
but your mindset will conform to what is around you. Let me quickly state this before I drop off, right? Just apologies to people that maybe might not be Christians on the call. I don't know if we have them. And then just let me quote this. If you see a prophet, right,
Yeah.
and you see his son, and the prophet is walking in the miraculous, it
Okay.
is almost it is almost seamless for the son to walk in the miraculous. Do you know why? Because he has seen it happen time and time again.
Mm.
When I was in school, when I was in school, I was the fellowship president, right?
Okay.
When we want to go for ministration, there's
Yeah.
something I normally do. Maybe like 2 3 days, I'll make sure that I keep consuming content where things are happening.
Mm.
Because what you see all of a sudden, when you go to minister, it just happens. And you be like, oh, is this me? No, it is because you've conditioned your mind. So personal identity is possible, right? You can condition your mind. But if your environment is not supporting it, you are going to lose it.
Mm.
So as a man ticket, so is the it's not just as a man ticket, because what you think is directly proportional to your gates, your
Mm.
eye gate and your ear gate, and then those are things you get from your environment. Your eye gate and your ear gate, those are things you get from your environment. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. This conversation is getting hotter. Ivy, please share your view. Thanks, Daniel. Ivy, you have the floor. We can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Hope
Good
I can be
evening.
heard. Can I be heard? Okay.
Yeah.
So, just quickly to add to what has been said, very wonderful responses has been given. I would say what from my perspective, what basically shapes our identity, because our identity is shaped. None of us comes into this world with an identity per se. Our identity is influenced, and our choices now make up what now comes to become our identity. So identity is shaped by our interaction with the environment. So when we interact with the environment, we are exposed to two forces. All right, we are exposed to internal factors and then our external influences. External influences in communication with our environment, right? In communication with the culture we have come into, in communication with the environment we have come into, in communication with the kind of system or the kind of family or the kind of experiences we have had over time in life. These external factors tend to shape who we become. But more important than the external factors, I think, is what we now choose to be. So that's why we can have somebody with an abundance mindset, but then this person is living in a poor environment. Where
Mm.
even if my environment is influencing, my external environment is poor, but internally I've chosen to have an abundance mindset. So the discussion around identity is shaped around interaction. It's shaped around interaction with our environment. So when we interact with our environment, we are exposed to a lot of external influences, but then at the end of the day, we now choose our own internal factors that now makes up our identity. So what actually makes up our identity is now in the choices we make from our interactions with our environment, right? So
Yeah.
the values we now choose to hold, what we choose to believe, the personality we now choose to build, this is what at the end of the day shapes our identity to become who we want to be or to become who we are. Yeah,
Mm.
thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that. So I feel stress the fact that um, there is a portion where we make internal choices that can still affect our destiny, even though we may not have all the favorable circumstances around our given our birth, our environment, and that's very very powerful. Thank you very much for sharing. Tell me you want to say something. You have the floor.
Um, okay, so I'm grateful for all the speakers that have spoken. I've really gained a lot. I've been jotting here. I hope everyone is doing so. So, actually, from my own perspective, identity, I feel identity is more of like a large data set. That is something like a database. Now, yes, let me use that concept. Now, identity, things like environment, family, they are just part of the data set. It is not all. So, and the large data set I'm talking about, let's say for human beings, I feel it is ingrained in the subconscious. Now, the subconscious, we know that there is the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And
Yeah.
the subconscious mind is actually over the subconscious mind like rules over the conscious mind. We all know this. So
Mm-hmm.
now if you notice, there are some people that came from
Yeah.
poor homes, poor families, and yeah, we all expect them to have that view to be aberrated, that perception of life, but it
Mm-hmm.
is not the same because
Yeah.
that's just a factor. Like some environments, you go to some people's where they live and they don't look like where they live.
Mm-hmm.
So in as much as I just feel like those are just factors, that's not all. Now there's a quote I saw somewhere by Carl Jung. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will
Mm-hmm.
direct your life, and you call it fate."
Hmm.
So
Powerful.
that means if you yourself as a person, if you are like, is even why is subconscious is the fact that you will not even notice it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
as a way of filtering how you filter things. It's just like how you see it,
Yeah.
and it's because of your over time. Some people they came from poor homes, they went to good schools, and the good schools like played their own part. Like the schooling system played its part, and it has shaped and helped them. You understand?
Yeah.
So, like when they go home, maybe they don't just act like maybe their fellow neighbors, like maybe riffraff and all of that.
Yeah.
So the fact that that part was exposed to them, like let me just round up with this. I feel like it's more of a reinforcement over
Mm-hmm.
time, and you have to make it conscious. Let me just round up with this. My own personal experience. I'm a mechanical engineer. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated from FUTA. So there was a time during COVID, I was just at home and my mom was like, mechanical engineer, go to the mechanic village, go and learn mechanic now.
Okay.
And that for me was like, okay, I was new to the whole thing. So I went there. Then when I saw the way mechanics were behaving, I was just sitting down, though I didn't tell her. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just be like, is this what I will end up doing after how many
Mm-hmm.
years of studies? And I was like, no. I just felt like, well, I would just maybe dump the certificate or something like that. But thanks to God, I went for internship in another organization which was more
Yeah.
standard. And I met other professionals and they were like, bro, this your field, you understand? So like it just changed. There was just that shift. Like I was like, I used to see myself as, you understand?
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's a large and over time it is built and it is reinforced. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
have to say now.
Wow. 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 Identity can be built and it can be reinforced. Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing to me. I've learned a lot from you. You said something. It said a quote that I can remember. You said, "If we don't make the unconscious conscious, we'll keep living life and thinking that it is fate." The fact that our thoughts, like Daniel also said rightly, that the way we think is who we later become. That's a favorite quote by Napoleon. Was it Napoleon Hughes or Hughes? There was a particular motivational speaker that I used to listen to in 2020. I used to say that we become what we think about most of the time. Like Just like just thinking about it now. He said who will become in future is what we think about most of the time. And I was like, man, this is serious. So what am I thinking about most of the time? Like just check your if you do a data analysis of your thought process and you do like let me say pattern matching and you analyze okay 24 hours a day 365 days a year and so many years you've been alive, what is the pattern in your thoughts about your identity, who you are? He said that's what you become in the future. That's deep, like that's very deep. Because okay, and most of the time when we are thinking, we are not conscious about our thoughts. We are just maybe you don't have money in your pocket. Sometimes it just like, hey, shall will not be poor like this in life. That's a thought process. If you are not serious, if you are not conscious, that may become your reality. And that's very, very insightful. Daniel, you want to add some points? Please, you have the floor.
Yes, yes. I just wanted to say a very big thank you to Temilolua. He just brought it all together. It came together as a whole, right? Let me just quickly buttress one part of what he said, right? I think the person you are talking about, Bolu, should be is either it is Jim Rohn or Brian Tracy. Jim Rohn or Brian Tracy. I most probably think it's going to be Jim Rohn, right? But both of them actually they say they've thought a lot about that. Okay, okay. Let me talk about what Temilolua said, right? Over time, it solidifies. Let me tell you how the mind works. You, sh- everybody should actually take a time and read about the mind, right? Read about how the mind works. You discover that this will be something. This might make people that are religious fight me. You discover that the mind is actually programmed to give you what you want. So that's why you can actually achieve what you want with just your mind.
Yeah.
So the mind is a GPS tracker. If you put a coordinate for it, it can actually lead you there. Let me explain. So Temilolua said something very profound, right? You can decide that from today, oh, I don't want this life, and it will happen. You can decide that today, this is what I want, and it will happen, right? So they told him, oh, go to the mechanic village and go and learn mechanic, right? And he went there and he saw his type of life. If that's all he saw, the eye gate, that's what would have programmed his mind. But when he saw something better, he quickly chose something better. Because if you choose and tell your mind, this is what I want, your mind can actually take you there. The mind is like a filter. You are only looking, you are not seeing. Pay attention. You're only looking, you're only seeing. You will never catch me talking bad about Nigeria. You know why? Because when you always talk about that, your mind is not filtering. You will never see good things here. It is just the truth. You will never people will be seeing opportunities like this. You will not see. If I go to speak, this is how I explain it. It is called the red car effect. When I was in Kaduna, right? Me and my pastor went to get his first vehicle. It was in 307 Peugeot. When we got there, there were several options to pick, and he said, "Oh, let me take the wine." Of course, somebody will be driving wine color of the Peugeot. Immediately, we drove out of the car stand. We started seeing wine color. I think we saw like 3 or 4 before we go home, and I explained to him when we go home because your mind was not looking for wine color of Peugeot before. But now your mind has started looking for it. That's what the mind does. When you tell it what to look for, it's like a GPS tracker. If you tell it, oh, that's why if somebody tells you something bad about somebody, no matter what the person does, you are not seeing good anymore. Now you are looking for, because your mind is always looking for something to solidify what you already have. Your mind is a software. It's always looking for something to solidify what you already have. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Oh, this is getting very hot. Hey, I mean, I'm just thinking. One thing that they said that struck me deeply is that just imagine you had something bad about someone. Like your next disposition is to think that in that line of thought. It's just as if they've given you a picture, a framework to think about that person. Just imagine, okay, for the first time you had that Bolu is a terrible guy. That guy he doesn't have character. When you meet me, you'll be looking for reasons, you'll be looking for scenarios that justify what you already have in mind. Like our mind works that way. When you already have a picture in mind of who a person is, you've had something. I think that's one of the reasons they said, those that tell gossip, they destroy a lot. People that gossip about people, they destroy them a lot. Like gossiping destroys people because now people listening to you don't have a very fair bias towards you. They have a set of mindsets that they just want to validate when they meet you. And that's very horrible way to live. You are not living just to review and to manifest who you are. You are living and people are validating what they already have in their mindset. Oh, wow, thank you very much for that, Daniel. Um, is there anyone else that wants to share about how they define identity? I mean, in this context now, individual identity, personal identity, and their observation and understanding on how identity is formed over the years. Anyone before we move to our next line of discussion? You have the floor. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. In light of that, I want us to move to our next line of discussion, and it's following our current line of thoughts. See, we've talked about how identity is initially formed by the environment and the people we hang around with, and that's 100% true. I won't lie to you. Most of what I am today is because of those I've met. People like Daniel that will, I'll get to think about your life. People like Caleb, man. Like everybody on this call, most of them that I know, there are people you meet that you have to pause and are you really serious in your life? Those are the kind of people that actually gives us another reason to pursue other, another reason to do more, and it gives us another light into how we see ourselves. Many of us have rightly said, like those we see around us give us a level of expectation of what we can take from ourselves, the limit we can set for ourselves, and that's very powerful. But now I have another question. Imagine someone that was born in the village and all the person just have is dissatisfaction. Like you were born in the village, you haven't gone to the city by the way, and all you have is dissatisfaction. You are not just happy about how things are. You are not just happy about where you are. You don't have a picture of a grandiose future. All you have is that no, I want life to be better than this. How do you think that kind of person who doesn't have the environment, who doesn't have the people around him, how do you think that kind of person can build a success identity? And what I mean by success identity, I mean everything that surrounds success, everything that you have to be in your mind to be successful in life. How do you think that kind of person can succeed in life if they don't have the environment and they don't have the people around them? How would that person evolve? Do you say, okay, take all your money and go to the city? Do you say you can stay in your place and build the mindset you need, and you can still do what you need to do? So, given from your own personal experience and how you become who you are today, what can you say takes a person from ground zero to ground 1,000? Okay, Daniel, you have the floor. Please share with us.
Yes, Bolu. It seems today you are very prepared to listen. Okay, let me quickly share a thing or two, even though I'm at this alone. I was in Zamfara for like 2 weeks. I was shuttling between Zamfara and Sokoto. Yeah, I was sorting between Zamfara and Sokoto, and then I got to some of the extremes, right? When I mean the extremes, the very poor places. I mean, you seldomly see cars, the more of donkeys, and then a few people own bikes, right? And then I was looking at my manager, and then I asked her. I think at that time I was preparing for a presentation around goal setting, and then I asked her, uh, "What do you think is the highest these kids want from life?" I mean, the closest school was a good distance away. So I was like, what do you think is the highest these kids will want from life? They most probably want to be the boda that is in the next street that owns a bike that is doing. You cannot even do Okada there because who is going to work with you, right? So I was I was having that line of thought, and I was like, how do somebody like this break out? You are better. You have social media. You are seeing people doing way crazier stuff. You are seeing people doing big things, right? So your mind is open. Because I always tell you that what you want is not really what you want. What you want is because you've seen somebody want it. That's why you want it. Pay attention. What you want is not really what you want. What you want is because somebody has done it. Now you want to do it. Just to quickly go off, I'll come back. Papa Adeboye wanted to be the youngest vice chancellor.
Vice Chancellor, yeah.
Yes, right? And
Yeah.
then God said, no, I'm able to do exceedingly above, beyond what you can think or imagine. Because what you can think or imagine is directly influenced by what you are seeing, what
Yeah.
you've seen. So those kids in the village or in those very secluded areas, how do they make it out? Sometimes you don't know, and then it is very difficult. Sincerely, it is very difficult, almost impossible actually, because
Okay.
the more only what can only prompt you most of the time is what you are seeing.
Mm.
Are you seeing something better? Is what you are seeing, because God said, "Oh, Abraham, look." Because what solidifies faith is, am I seeing? He said, "Oh, Abraham, look at the stars." Even Abraham, father of faith, was already. I said, "No, look," because if you don't see, and he was like, look at the valley. Can these bones rise again? Because if you don't see, right? Let me come back to, if it's possible. Sometimes you have to be choosing. You have to be selected, because you cannot just wake up and start wanting more. Like I said, it has to be seen. So sometimes you just start feeling that I can do more. There is more somewhere, and you cannot explain. So I would say, oh, that is divine selection, because it does not just come to everybody. There's just that urge in you that there's something more I can do out of life. There's something more I can do out of life. And then the only way I saw for those kids is that it's either they're able to get out of that cycle, which is the
Yeah.
village, or they're able to find God. Because those are the only two means that you can get out, because it's only him that is able to do exceedingly above what you can think or imagine. Thank you.
Hmm. Wow. So they need to connect to a higher power, God. They need to get out of the environment or find a way to interact with people that have achieved that. Thank you very much for that, Daniel. Damilari, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel, for that exposition. I think it's very powerful. Yeah, from my own perspective, if I get your ask very well, you're asking about people that are living in very remote areas and then they are blinded in quotes. And then
Yeah.
how do they make it out of that place, knowing that okay, they are not happy where they are. So for me, I was when I was talking about identity, I said something around it's something that comes from your personal experiences and then is accepted through a present reflection. So I would say the first part of you knowing that you're not where you're meant to be is your first goal. You're already 1-0 ahead. Because it's one thing to even be in a bad place. It's one thing to know you're in a bad place. So I'll say that anyone that is even in that place of saying, okay, I know that this is not where I'm meant to be, is already winning. Then I was saying something around, I also went to Katsina some weeks ago, and then was saying something around people saying the highest level is bike. Because those places that I went to particularly, there was even no bike. It's always cow, donkey that they used to move around. So really, people will only know what they see. Okay, sometimes they don't even know where the eye is bad.
Hmm.
All their goal is let me own a cow, let me own a plot of land, let me farm, let me get a wife, and then let me be fine. So if they now know that where I am is not good enough, that's 1-0. They're already winning. So now the next step of them making it out. For me, I had a very rough patch early in life. And then one thing that, at least from my own personal experience, I won't say, one thing about life is 100% of your output does not determine 100% of your outcome. Really,
Hmm.
so there are some things that are 100% beyond your control. So all you have to just do is what is in your control and then work around that. So I'll say the person knows that, okay, where I am, I'm not meant to be here. I can be better than this thing. So what I would recommend is, for me, the principle I had was anything I was going to do, I was going to be almost the very best at it. I'm not going
Okay.
to settle for anything average or middle point. So let me just be very best at this thing and doing
Okay.
excellently well. So I would say the best place to make it out, apart from the fact that there's some things under your control, That's
Mm-hmm.
things like you meeting God, having a spiritual relationship that favors you out of an unfavorable circumstance. That's an external perspective. But when it
Yeah.
comes to your internal perspective, what you actually have control over, I would say just be the best at everything that you do, and then
Okay.
just hope to make it happen. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. That's another point of view. Thank you very much. And you touched on something very powerful. How that there are things within your control and there are things outside of your control. Do you know that this is the kind of challenge I had in 2020 during coronavirus period? I was like destabilized entirely because my plans for the year got shattered. I'm that kind of guy that will plan ahead for the year. And then coronavirus came and all of us are just at home and I don't just know how my life is going again. Then what I came to realize at the point is that there are things within my control and there are things outside of my control. Everything I can control in life are the things within my control. There are things I cannot control. And when things that I cannot control happens, my next disposition is to settle in and look at what I can still do within my control. Otherwise, you just wound yourself. Thank you very much, Daniel. And you touched on the fact that they should be like being the best at what we do is one of the things we can control that can give us a chance at the dream life we want. Thank you. Ayola, you have the floor. Go ahead and share your insights with us.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Bolu.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be here. Though I came in late, but I think I met a very interesting conversation. This is my very first time as well, so I'm glad to be here. Um, Listening to the train of conversations over the past few minutes, I think it's very fantastic. And to speak particularly to your question, something came into my head while you everybody was sharing, and two scriptures particularly came to mind. First is Philippians, and it was saying that let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ. One, it means that there is a kind of mindset that Christ carried, and it is the template that we're expected to carry. Um, then the second scripture that came to mind to back that up was Acts chapter 1 and verse 8. It said, after the year received power, the assignment is that you're supposed to go across the earth, Judea, Samaria, everywhere. The goal is one thing, that you become, witness to him. Now, I saw that in a different light entirely, having that was speaking about this, and you spoke about a question. When Christ was moving, yeah, he was moving to do, miracles and a couple of other things. But then, importantly, he was also teaching. That's why we have parables and every other thing. There are people that are in rural areas today that might not ever get a chance to the exposure that you have now. As part of your assignment, beyond having to maybe preach the gospel, part of the assignment that you are giving to you is for you to become a light. And that's where you come back to scriptures like saying, for you are a light. Say, let your light shine so far, so bright that men may see and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Right? So it means that there are people that are waiting for you. This is another dimension to when they say, do you know what is at stake when you don't take your own life seriously? It's because there are other lives that would see your own light, right? So as much as they might read the scriptures, read a couple of many other things, some people might not see the light. They are probably just reading the scriptures. They are not having an example of the revelation of Christ, so to say. And I just use a very brief scenario to wrap up what I want to say. Look at Israelites and Moses, right? Even while Moses was in Egypt, he wasn't exactly seeing the light, but he knew that there was something different. And then, things happened and he had to leave. Then he encountered Christ. The Israelites, while they were in Egypt, did not forget God, particularly, right? They were still with him, but they could not break even from that particular thing. No matter how much they understood that, oh, they had to worship God and all of that. They had to take Moses, right, going to be witness by even performing more powers from God to show that, yo guys, this is it. Like he had to bring in the light, he had to become the salt, he has to become that thing, that force that will break even for them. And that way they could even find their identity and then, progress further. I hope I am able to, um, articulate myself properly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for giving us that line of perspective. Yeah, the fact that people also draw their identity from their experiences with God. Um, Ayola, thank you very much for that. We are very, very grateful, and I'm very, very grateful for that insight. As we begin to wrap up, I want us to have a question to also discuss. Like this is my own last question. I don't know whether anybody else has a question. And my last question is this: one of the things people desire to have is having a consistent and reliable life. Like one of the plague we have in this generation is that a lot of people are disappointed in themselves. In fact, when we say there's identity crisis, it's because people are literally confused. You may not know how much people are doing to live the kind of dream life they want. And every point in time they are failing. I know there's a part of salvation, there's a part of being spiritual and all of these things. But the fact is that to build a consistent life, and here's my thought process, and how I link into identity, and I want to hear what you think. To build a consistent and a reliable life, whatever life you want to build, let's just say you want to have a successful life. You want to be successful in your career, you want to be successful in your relationship, and you don't want to succeed and fail. You want to consistently succeed. You need your identity. The first thing that can get you there. Like I was arguing when we started that, even though James Clear, he, he said that habits are the way you build identity. I personally have a belief that you build identity around convictions, around your values. So let's say you want to have a consistently successful life. The question is that what's the identity that means? What are the values that makes someone consistently successful? What are the systems that makes one consistently successful? Okay, okay, that's on an economic point of view. Let's even think in academic or health wise. You want to be consistently successful as health person. The goal is not for us to change your diet. The goal is not for us to look for better food to eat. I think the first goal is to look for the values. What are the values that define and I remember one of the reasons I've not been consistent with gymming is I was telling one of my friends, I think was it Joshua. I was saying that well, I'm looking for a reason. Like I know if I start gymming today, I will stop. I will stop. Once it's no more convenient, I will stop. Because I know. Health is very important. But I'm looking for a compelling reason. And that's one of the things I said I would do. I'll read about the health benefit of the gymming, and I've not done that. And look for what's the thing I actually want, like that defines the value for me in this thing, so that I will have a strong why for going into gymming consistently. I won't just start and bounce out. So if I ask you this question, how do you believe, or what's your understanding of building a consistent and reliable life? Is it around identity? And if it is around identity, how should someone that wants to evolve to be a successful person, how should they redesign their identity for the kind of life they want to be? Just imagine that you are successful financially, you want to be successful physically. How do you evolve your identity along that line to succeed, not just in one area of life, but in every area of your life? So your floor is open to your thoughts. Who wants to go first? Yeah, Daniel, please. Thank you.
Wow, this is a $1 million question, right? It's a very tough one, but I'll give it the first crack. How do you build a successful life, and not just in one area, all around? Hmm. The truth is that as humans, right, we might be able to pursue multiple things, but I always tell people that pursue one thing at a time, at least. Yeah, at most two, because maybe girls, women, I don't know why I always say it, that are analog machines. Most guys that I know, are digital, most maybe women that are digital machines, most guys that are actually more analog, right? When I mean analog, I mean they can they can be very good at a thing or two, maybe exceptions, right? But ladies, they just find a way of doing it. And then this is not to state anything. This is not statistically proven or backed. This is just from personal observation. To build a successful life, I think your identity should be around 18 or 2. So be known for this or that. Most probably just this. How do you build this to be that? I went for CTS and then I was trying to make content. And then somebody was asking me, oh, are you a big influencer or all of that? I said, yes, I'm an influencer, right? I don't just have the following yet. I'm an influencer. I don't just have the following yet. Or I'm a thought leader. I don't just have the following yet. And then she was thrown aback and was like, how will you say how many followers do you have on TikTok, for example? And I just laughed because I feel like everything is about how do you see yourself first. Let's leave the environment. Let's leave everything. You, how do you see yourself? I replied somebody on Twitter earlier today. And then when I thought about it, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have said it. It's not everybody that needs this, what I say, right?
Okay.
The person said something around, please allow me to quote he said something around, oh, um, this money thing, it was just around money. And I was not like, even in your dreams, you are still a loser. Your dream, you are free to be whatever you want to be in your own dreams. I can't decide now that, oh, I'm dreaming I'm going to be the governor, but even in your own dream you are still dreaming to be a loser. See, faith and fear is one coin of two sides. Both things are not true, but they want you to believe. Both faith, both things are things you cannot see, but it's asking you to believe. Both faith and fear. So you choose what you want to believe. You can either believe you are going to fail and go with fear, or believe you are going to win and go with fear. It is the same thing. You just have to choose. To
Yeah.
build a successful life, one, you need systems, and you need systems that will be able to hold you accountable.
Mm.
You need systems, and you need systems that will be able to hold you accountable. I always tell people, when you are trying to do things, don't go all the way out. You are trying to start gymming. You're already saying you want to be gymming 4 times a week. It does not make sense. You're only setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So if you are going to build systems around that, when am I most free? Sunday evening, once in a week first. Let's
Yeah.
start there. When you There's something about building on social media. It works, it does not work. Some people say, oh, come outside and say, oh, I'm starting gymming today, so you'll be accountable. It works for some people. So I'm only going to put it there, but I'm not going to attach my name to it because
Mm.
it might work for you, it might not work for you. But I
Mm-hmm.
always say, to build a successful life,
Yeah.
first, get the mindset that is required for that position. Because if you can get the necessary processor and the input, you most probably will manifest the output. If you can get the software and get the input, you most probably manifest the output. What have I said? First, get the mindset.
Yeah.
Second, don't change your life once. Some mindset that took you 10 years to build. All of a sudden, you want to just write stuff paper that I'll be gymming 4 times a week and it's going to happen. It does not work that way. It took you 10 years to be obese. Now you want to change it in a day by going to the gym 4 times. It does not work that way. So start gradually. Start turning your life towards, start rerouting your life towards where you want it to be pointing. Even
Yeah.
if you are moving an inch, you are still moving towards the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is just an inch, you are still moving towards the goal.
Yeah.
First, work on your mindset. Second, build systems. Don't be too steep with your systems. That's what I'm saying. And then third, work on your environment.
Mm.
Because as much as you have decided that this is what I want to do, if you still keep smokers around yourself, you are still going to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bit around it. Show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are going to
Who you
be.
are
Not
part of.
necessarily who you are.
Even who
Who
you
you
are
are
going
going
to
to be,
be.
not necessarily who you are. It might take time. You will eventually fall. It
Mm.
might take time. Thank you.
For my Daniel, thank you. Like, we'll soon invite you. We'll soon invite you to come and give us a a thorough presentation. I mean, thank you very much for this insight. Like, we all learned a lot of you today, and we don't take it for granted. We're so happy to have you here. Who else would love to share with us? Building a successful, consistent, and reliable life. Is it around identity? And if it's around identity, how do we shape our identity along that line? Who wants to share before we round up and close for tonight? So for me, I've focused more on building convictions and building knowledge, mindset. Many of us have also talked about how environment matters, how association matters. Like, I can't forget that quote. I can't forget that quote. It said, Who you will become is what you consistently think about." Like, it blew my mind. Who I will become in the next 5 years. Abraham Lincoln said that who you become, you are the same person you are today that you'll be in the next 5 years, except for the books you read. That's knowledge. Like, have you gained more knowledge in light of a better future, and the people you hang around with, that is your association, and your association also links to your exposure. But this other one blew my mind entirely. That who you become is what you constantly think about. Just analyze what you are thinking about today. What have you thought about today about yourself, about your future? What did you think about yesterday? Day before yesterday? Past 1 year? What are you thinking about yourself? That's who you are gonna be. It's a painful truth, but that's what it is literally. People become what they think about. If you analyze the life of dreamers, achievers, people who have done a lot, you see some consistently to the way they see themselves, even while they were still young, why they didn't have what they wanted. They still saw themselves as world changers, and that's what they become. I know a lot of things they had to play, like we said, like Caleb said rightly, that you control what you can control. There are other things you cannot control. That oftentimes we have to go in our favor to achieve what we want. But the truth is that what you are thinking about has a major effect. Thank you very much. So since there is no other contribution, is there any question? Who has any question before we close for tonight? Our time is fast spent. Any question? Question time, answers time. If you have any
Hi
question,
everyone.
okay, go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, I've been trying to raise my hand, but it wasn't working for some reason. Thank you everyone that contributed. Thank you, Bully. Very, very insightful conversation. So one thing I just want to say is this. I don't know who this will help, but whenever you are set out to achieve a goal, for example, let me use losing weight, and then you say, okay, you want to lose weight to look this type of way, so you can go back to eating so thing. So it's like the life you're committing to, it's like a lifelong process. Let's say you love reading. Let me use another example. You want to read to become this. I mean, how did you get there? Probably you read and then got there, and then you now get to a stage where you be like, oh my God, I'm tired of reading. I've already gotten here. So it's just that will just make you stay stagnant. So it's just like continuous improvement. Like the systems you put in place, know that it's something you are going to be doing constantly, and you don't have to wait for the stuff to come. You have to be the person that type of stuff will come to. Basically, just leveraging on what almost everyone has said, and then picking some things from the compound effect and the atomic habits. Sorry, kindly confirm you can hear me so I don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is basically what I have to say. So I want to wish everyone an amazing and productive year, and I hope that we'll set out and achieve all our goals that we've planned, or at least 90% of the goals we've planned. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Building systems is very powerful, and having a mindset shift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who else has any question? Okay, tell me, go ahead. We have just 15 minutes to go. Make it short.
Okay, so based on that your questions, I don't know, like trying to evolve your identity to succeed from one area to other areas. Personally for me, I think yeah, I've been having some insight on okay, I have systems and all of that, which is good. But where I think where we are not looking at is those areas of your life that are different. You get. So the fact that you were good in one area doesn't necessitate that or whatever system you put in place. So I think first thing is you are approaching it with a mindset that you want to just make it work. Like, and you will fail at it, like, while trying to be consistent. You understand? So I just feel like it's more of you just failing. Let me use the word fail because you fail to succeed. Let me put it that way. So many people approach this thing as a one-time it that I will just get it once I put the system and do this, do that. But I don't think it comes like that. I think when you keep on doing and failing over, and one thing about failing is that it is a testimonial to a higher or maybe your success. Because if you feel like, oh, I actually did this, maybe you started something like a course and you finished one and you feel like, oh, as long as this is and tedious, why can't I do another thing that is in that regard or similar? You understand? So the compounding effect of feeling and everything, I feel like it shines more light to the areas you can explore more. And when you increase your exposure to it can help also. Thank you.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very sorry I can't call everybody now. So let me just call Alale. Just make it very short. Alale, you have something to say.
Yes, yes. Good evening.
Yeah, good
So
evening.
I would like someone that experienced this before to answer my question. So my question
I'm
is
not
going
sure we
to
can hear you very
bother.
well. Are you close to your
Can you
mic?
hear me now?
A little
Can you
bit
hear me
now.
now?
Yeah, better.
All right. So I want to talk about. I also want to like answer this question for me.
Hey,
Someone that has experienced this before. Can you hear me?
please just hold
All
your
right.
mic, yeah, your mic close to you.
This is my motion.
Okay, you can hear him very well.
Okay.
Can you
Can you
hear
hear
me?
me?
Let me
Let me.
talk via John's device.
Okay, good, 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 good.
All right. So good evening. It's very nice to be here this time. Uh, I want to ask a question. And my question is, I want someone that has experienced it before to answer this question. But my question is about focus. I noticed, I think sometime last year, I made some decision about reading books, exercise, and everything. And when it started, I was all over the place reading books. There was this consistency there. But I just noticed that everything just vanished into the thing here. uh, just the focus is not there again. The consistency is not there again. Is it normal or what might have been the reason that just went off? And then I also want to ask about this attention span that we seem to have lost in this. You are on this task, but you are on another thing. Just that attention, but that focus is not there again. Has it happened to anybody before? Yeah, I like someone to bring the advice or guide regarding that. Thank you.
Okay, Bukumi, thank you for your question, but I'm not sure we'll have a discussion around it. I'll just give my insight, but at our next meeting, which is next last Sunday of next month, is a question that you can raise again so that you have more time for people to shed light on it. But tonight, I want to open the discussion. What I would just say is this: when it comes to building consistency around a habit like reading, I won't lie to you, you need a why. You need a strong why for reading. See, there are a lot of things fighting for our attention. There are a lot of easier things to do. See, whenever you want to do any hard thing in life, if you don't have a why for doing it, you won't go long in doing it. Because why not watch film? Why not play? Why not gist? Why not eat and have fun? Why do the hard things of life? Why study your books? Why read? Why learn a course? Why take a course? Like there has to be a reason. And that reason has to be stronger than the other distraction. If it's not strong, you will go else. So you have to be very practical with yourself. Like sit yourself down and ask yourself, like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point of reading? And how is it important to you? Like have a one-on-one session with yourself and ask yourself, why are you reading? Do you have a reason you are reading? If you don't have a reason, just do something else. But if you have a reason, is that reason important enough? And why is your attention span moving so fast? Is it that you don't have a clear vision? What are you trying to achieve in life? And if you have a clear vision, why are you changing the plan? If you have a clear vision, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is how I know. Okay, this is how I know to do it in 2 years. Then why are you changing your plan? Why are you changing your attention? Why are you moving your attention? You just have this is a clarity session that you need with yourself. If there's a clear vision, I don't know. I assume there's a clear vision. There's where you are going to. Then you have a plan. You see that you have an alternative plan that works better, so your attention is moving, or you are not even clear on your plan. Okay, so people want to talk about this, but please, it should not be more than 1 minute. So Daniel, you have 1 minute, and then Dennis say 1 minute too. Then we have to close. We are closing on time. Thank you, guys. Daniel, go ahead.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining. Like, if you listen to the conversation, you know that everybody on the call are super intelligent. They have something they want to say, and then it's profound to listen to. Right, it's something that it's amazing to listen to. These people are of very high intellect. Just quickly, there's so much to say, so much to answer. God help me. From Dennis' conversation, what Dennis said, you notice that what really matters in life is very few, but what we pursue is a lot. What really matters in life are very few, but what we pursue are a lot. Let's leave that. Let's come to Olale. Quickly, Bolu did not give me time to say this, but let me just quickly say, right? What I look for in people that I work with is somebody that can come and tell me the truth. That's all. That's what I even want from a wife. Come and tell me, oh, this is what I'm doing, and then this is what how I feel. That's all I want from people. People that can be genuine, tell you, oh, this is what you're doing, it is wrong. This is how I'm doing. I know when he came out and said, oh, I tried reading book and I just said, that guy is a good guy. That's how I see life. I know why it is not working, because initially what you had was motivation, and that's how motivation works. It expires after a while. What keeps you going is what Bolu said: a strong why. Why we pray those times, or why we pray initially, is motivation. There's a fire burning inside you. It is hot. You are praying, but after a while, you need something that keeps you going. That's what we now call consecration. What's your consecration demand? So you need a very strong why. That's how you go. And your focus, Pam. I don't use so many social media, because I know that there are junks, and then junks are always looking. When you start doing junks, I used to, scroll on TikTok, but I only go there to post now. I just post and I leave, because I know that there are junks. And then your mind, if you want to be a very intelligent person, cannot be doing junks.
Thank you, Daniel.
So those things they will diminish your focus time. All of a sudden, you cannot focus more than an hour. It will just diminish your time. And then one thing I wanted to point out is that I needed to try and fail. Failure is part of it. In the US, they invite people who have failed to come and tell you. Because if you know one way people have failed, you will not do it. Thomas Edison failed 999 times. That's 999 ways it will not work.
Yeah, thanks.
So if failure it's actually part of it, right? Fail. Before I got my first 5.0 in school, I did so many different. I tried this one, I got 5.4 point something. So try it and fail. It is part of it. Nobody's expecting you to get it the first time. That is, if anybody is telling you that, it does not work.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Daniel. I'm sorry for cutting you short. It's just that we are out of time already. Dennis, can you see it in 1 minute?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I will. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing that. The person that asked the question on attention span. So I'll just say this. One thing is that repetition gets boring at times. So you just need to pick what you will be comfortable being boring with. And then I wouldn't say to fix your attention span, but one thing that can work is you break it down into blocks of time. So you like maybe start with like 10 minutes of concrete work, then you can take a 5 minutes break and everything. It actually works, Sha. So whatever you're doing, just probably say, oh, or you can just measure it. You start doing it till you zone out. So that point in time where you zone out, that's your limit. So you just record that time. That'll probably be like 30 minutes or like 20. So you just record it. Then you take like a 10 minutes break, do whatever you want to do, then continue like that, like that, like that. Or you can just give a time frame. Like this day, I'll dedicate so many hours to this and so many hours to this and everything. And if that hour passes, you've not done it, you just carry over to the next day. Or you can do morning, night, something like that. So just with time, I'll stop here. Thank you, Bolo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. I want to appreciate everyone for coming tonight. I'm very grateful to have you around. There's no retreat without you. See, like I think this approach works better. I prefer having a conversation to having a presentation. And I think this is a better approach. I'm learning from intelligent people, like, and I don't know it all, so why not learn and also share my view? I think it's more interactive, it's more engaging, and it's more productive. So going forward, I want us to keep this going. And if you have any alternative view, share with me. So a couple of announcements. So this retreat is every last Sunday of the month. It's for 90 minutes. It's 8 p.m. Every last Sunday of the month, the retreat is. If you are not registered, please message me for the registration link. I will send the registration link to you. So, the community, like we announced last month, that was in December last year, has been, let me see, as it hasn't started, but it's in preparation. Our initial cohort of members have been collected. So if you have not registered, please message me. The condition is that you must have attended one of our retreats, because we don't want a WhatsApp community where we don't even know you. You've never been in any of our retreats. You've never been part of what we are doing. So we want to be sure that you believe in what we are doing and you want to, commit to a closer group of people that can hold each other accountable and can do better and do more together as a people. So if you have not, but as you've attended any of these retreats, you can message me to get the registration link for the community. I'll be starting the community in February. So the group will be created. We'll have our first meeting. Everything will be co-designed. I will be meeting. The structure for the community will be co-designed. I know I may have ideas, but we are better together than individual. So that's how the community will be going. And it is the community members too that will be shaping what the retreat look like in the future. So the team for the retreat and also invited guests. So I have a team already in mind for for February, because the committee have not started. For February, I'm proposing we look at relationship. No, now not marital relationship, but destiny relationship. So how to build life on strong relationship. And I want to invite a friend of mine, Camille, to. It's not a presentation. It's just like this. So he will share his thoughts and we'll argue with him. We also share our thoughts because we are better together. It's just that sometimes we want to bring external people to give us, people that have achieved a lot in some areas of life, to give us perspective and help us ask the right question. So that's what we're going forward. If there is any other announcement, I will send it whether via WhatsApp or via email. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I see somebody say why no marriage. I'm not a marriage expert. I don't know much about marriage. I'm not married. So I can't even talk much about it. So the best I can talk about is destiny relationship. So maybe when all of us marry, it will be a good thing to talk about marriage, right? But nonetheless, it's something we can talk about if we need to. Yeah, if we need to. So when the committee starts now, we'll talk about that. So thank you very much for coming. Have a nice evening. It's time up. Bye bye. Have a nice Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Everyone, take care of yourself. See you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Yeah, Precious. Good to see you. Bola.
Bye.
Happy to see you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye, sir.
Yeah, bye bye, Fair. Good to see you.
Bye.
Good to see you, Joe.
Nice, good night.
Good night. Shexy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming.